Hey, guys.
Hey,
How's it
ROMEOs.
going?
Hey. So, welcome back, everyone. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Romeo World
Anything else you
Headquarters
want to thank
alive.
people for?
Thanks for your comments. Thanks for liking and subscribing and putting up with us and bringing us into your homes,
There you go.
into your earbuds, into your lives,
Okay.
and listening to what we're saying and getting the wisdom, taking the wisdom out of all of our words. Thank you for that.
Wow.
Is Aki inhabiting you?
Wow. I didn't realize
Both his
what
hands are on the
influence-
table.
What influence I have.
He's possessed.
Nuran, I'm very touched.
Yeah.
And you can go ahead. I'm touched, Nuran.
I like doing the touching, yes. So welcome back, guys. What are we talking about?
Out of the gutter.
Well, it seems that the Romeos may find themselves without a home before long.
True.
Romeo World Headquarters.
So I thought it might be interesting for us to talk about homelessness,
There you go.
There we go. I think that's a great.
if that's a politically acceptable term
It is.
nowadays.
Wow, it's just kind of ironic when we're doing it in a mansion.
homelessness.
That was my line.
Homelessness.
Yeah, well, it's a topic du jour. I think there's a lot of stuff
Yeah.
that's going on these
Yeah.
days with homeless encampments and cities where homeless folks are taking over large swaths of downtown cores and stuff. And yeah, it's definitely an interesting
Yeah,
topic.
and I prefer that term way better than unhoused.
And why is that?
Why?
Yes.
Because unhoused puts the responsibility on those that have a house. Whereas homelessness, it's a responsibility who has no house.
Yeah.
Okay, it's an interesting distinction.
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
And it's not my fault.
And
They're homeless.
well, the whole political correctness thing has
Yeah.
gone off the chart. So
Exactly.
let's
Okay, but let's
we
say
can shit-
political correctness
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
another time.
exactly.
We can shit on that on a different episode.
I think we already have on,
We have.
on more than one occasion.
Correct.
So let's focus on,
Yeah.
on some of the trends you touched on,
Yeah.
Nuran. And I'm not sure if it's a global crisis, but certainly in a number of countries, it's reaching a point where it is considered a crisis.
Yeah, China doesn't have any homelessness. But
Oh, that we know
okay.
of.
yeah, because they actually build housing for their folks, and they have lots of it. So I don't know if I should be the one to start this off.
Why not?
But,
Oh, why not? Go for it.
Well, you were in San Francisco. No, you weren't.
I was in San
Not
Francisco.
recently, though. Not
a few months ago, but
Oh, that's right. So,
Yeah.
So the encampments, you
He joined them.
saw them, or
power to the people.
There we go.
Solidarność.
Don't steal my lines.
He didn't. He only borrowed your name.
No, I mean, listen, over the past several years, it's gotten a lot worse. Since COVID, we have to also recognize that there's multiple reasons for this. There's definitely mental health issues. There's the closing of mental institutions because everyone's worried about people's rights, and you can't institutionalize people, and they don't have funding from governments because it's expensive to take care of people who are not of sound mind. So when you put these types,
Okay, but you're not suggesting that's related to COVID.
no, I'm just
So
kind
you're
of putting
saying
everything
since
together.
COVID, but it might be interesting for us to kind of distinguish between some of the things that transpired during and post-COVID that aggravated the situation versus other factors.
Okay, so yeah, I'll pass the mic on to the next person to talk about that. I don't have that much of a commentary on COVID and homelessness. I don't have much of a perspective on that. So
Okay, no, because you mentioned, I thought it was interesting, you mentioned that the problem has gotten worse or aggravated
Yeah.
since COVID,
yeah, I didn't.
but
I,
but nothing to do with the epidemic itself.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah. I haven't tied the two together in my mind, and I'm hoping maybe you guys can
Yeah.
enlighten me because
Yeah.
in my mind they're not connected.
Aki, did you want to weigh in?
Well, yeah. I mean, regarding the link to COVID, it amplified. I mean, the whole experience of the lockdowns and the whole pandemic difficult situation that society went through. I mean, we know that people who were psychologically had psychological issues, it was much more. It pronounced.
Well said.
What a lot of people were grappling with.
Okay.
Right. So when you're already grappling with these issues and you're already isolated and you have very poor social connections and you have all sorts of all sorts of doubts about your identity, all the rest of it. Then you have to go through something like COVID. And I will say, though, to the credit of the authorities, like most of the shelters and the organizations that were working with the homeless continue to work during COVID. So the shutdown kind of, at least those places, they were still allowed to see their people and continue to carry out their work and have people come together. And so it was very complicated, but certainly COVID, I mean, just across. So
from a mental health perspective.
From a mental health standpoint, COVID made everything
exacerbated
worse.
The situation. Okay, so I get that. And okay, thanks. Because I didn't make that connection immediately in my head. So
right.
Okay, that's good.
Right. And of course, and we're dealing with, homelessness. I don't give a shit about, having worked in this field. We call it.
You don't care about
homelessness
people?
unhoused. I don't care about the semantics.
Oh, it's not the people you're talking about. Okay.
No, I don't care about the semantics, right? I mean, but the issue is, it's always been, even before COVID, we've always struggled with this as a society. To be able to deal.
Do you think it's gotten worse?
It's gotten worse because I'll give you one example. I mean, it really starts in the schools. I mean, in schools you see a lot of families. You see the signs of families who are in crisis. Where young people are vulnerable and potentially could wind up, in extreme poverty and even on the street. You see the signs of that. You see a lot of dysfunction in the schools. And the schools, the poor schools, and this is, I think we talked about this when we talked about education, why the job of teachers is so hard, because you have such an array of social issues that you have to, you have to understand, you have to be on top of in order to be able to do your job. And we don't have enough resources, to head off these issues. So when families or young people...
So resources, money.
Resources, not money in terms of support, like psychologists, right?
That's funny.
So in most jurisdictions, we have a shortage of psychologists, and for youth,
definitely, our school systems are starving for money, for sure,
massive,
for sure.
So you see some of these families, some of these kids, where the families are dysfunctional, where maybe one of the parents, you have all sorts of situations. Yeah. They might be on the street, they might have their own serious mental issues, and they can't, assume the responsibility.
Addiction issues.
So the extent of the social problems and the depth of those problems, they're very, very difficult to get a handle on. So in my experience, what you really need to do, and we talk about the encampments, what really works is you have good counselors, people on the ground that can build a relationship with these people, earn their trust, and open the door to being able to work with them and slowly accompany them and be able to improve their situation. Some people, it's a matter of months. We've seen that. And in some cases, it's almost like it's years.
How do you take care of people that have mental issues?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
So when you identify someone that has a mental issue,
right.
He definitely needs to be institutionalized.
Right.
That should not be out on the road, on the street by themselves.
Correct.
Because they cannot take care of themselves.
Correct.
Adequately.
So the proper way of doing that, Duran, is number one, if you're not in the healthcare system, in most of these, the organizations that are on the front lines, they're youth counselors, they're sociologists, they're psychologists. They don't work, for the healthcare system per se.
Okay.
So the first thing that you have to do is you have to convince, the psychiatrist in the hospital of the seriousness of this person's case, and you have to go to bat for them and advocate for them in order to be able to get them into more psychiatric care. Now that's
but what if the individual doesn't want to be there?
This is why the counseling and the support is so important. The one-on-one support is
so you have to convince the person that he needs to.
You have to convince them, and then you have to convince the psychiatrist who doesn't have the resources.
Yeah, to take on an extra.
To take on an extra. These are very difficult cases.
Of course.
So a lot of times it's just.
Well, you just described why it doesn't work.
Yeah, it's convenience that rules. It's
it's not just a question of convenience ruling. A lot of the things that you're discussing come back to economic issues.
Beyond economic issues, there's one other issue, which is the human rights issue, and giving an individual the right, when they're not mentally capable, to decide for themselves not to be institutionalized.
Yes.
And to me, that's an issue, because now you're putting the so-called human right on top of the collective right, because this could be an aggressive person, this could be a person who can hurt others. including themselves,
Yeah.
and they're now out on the street.
So let me just
that's an issue,
that's
and
important.
that's beyond the financial.
Okay, but let's be clear. I mean, the aggression question. I know that in society, we tend to be afraid. The incidence of violence among the homeless is one of the lowest levels from any group in society.
Says who?
Says the people on the ground. Say sociological studies. Say
Find that
that
hard to
youth
believe.
protection.
So you're talking about violence specifically.
Yes.
Okay, and I'm not sure how we define violence. What about crime?
Yeah. What about
More
crime?
broadly.
Yeah. Thank you.
I find that hard to believe. I mean, I include crime and violence.
Yeah. Why do you
There is-
think all of the pharmacies in the States have all of their deodorant behind plastic, behind doors?
Yeah, I don't know. Is that why those are what homeless who
These are homeless that go and take the deodorant and put it on and put it back up on the shelves.
possible?
It's possible. What it happens. That's
It's
why
possible it
you go to a
happens.
CVS in the States, everything's locked up.
There are closing.
So I'm back to the whole economic argument.
Yeah.
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 So I understand. I understand that there seems to be a higher incidence of mental health issues in society.
Yeah.
Whether or not it's real, I don't know, but it seems that there's a higher incidence.
It's perceived anyway.
And whatever the causal factors are, one thing is certain: we don't have adequate resources
Yep.
to deal with the number of people who seem to be suffering from mental health issues.
Correct.
Some are less severe, some are most severe. Regardless of the level of severity, we just don't have the resources to deal with it. When you use the term institutionalize,
Yeah.
I'm tempted to laugh, and a part of me wants to cringe, because we as a society don't have the means to institutionalize people who need to be institutionalized. The majority of people who suffer from mental health issues are treated as outpatients.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yes.
And so it's a voluntary process where if they're fortunate enough to be assigned resources, social workers, psychologists, psychiatrists to work with, they then have to show up.
Yeah.
If they stop showing up, nobody's running after them.
And to take their medication as well.
Nobody's
if they-
running. And taking medication, it costs money to get medication.
Yeah. Even if it's paid for,
Who's paying for it?
well, governments. If
Really?
governments are paying for their medication,
Yeah.
they still don't take it. I mean,
Governments.
no one's following up, right? Then there's addiction issues.
So
on
the number
top.
of people who are slipping through the cracks
Absolutely.
on the whole mental health issue aspect of it. And while it's a very important consideration, it's not the sole consideration. There are a whole lot of other reasons
Yep.
why a growing number of people are homeless.
Yeah, personal
Or unhoused.
bankruptcies.
It's time for me to sound insensitive, like a
Weigh in, Dominic. That's what you're here
par
for.
for the course. Obviously, it shouldn't exist. Perfect situation, nobody's homeless. But look who is homeless. And that's where the problem is.
There's
Go
no,
on.
There's no profile, Dominic.
Yeah, these are people you cannot help for the most part.
No.
They have, and the proof is we have shelters and they refuse to go to shelters. They refuse because they don't want to be under rules, follow this. So these are people, for the most part, cannot be helped. Okay.
So what do you do with them?
What do you do? Well, that's what the problem is, because you can't. How much resources you can put in helping
Somewhere.
people that can't be helped?
Or don't want to be helped? Yeah.
Exactly. And that's what the problem is.
So what happens to these people?
And we have a government. I'm going to talk
Encampments.
about a Canadian government that pays people to have kids they cannot afford. So that makes the situation even worse. We
Well,
have,
there- so
we're
that's one-
overpopulated.
but there are countless issues that are contributing.
yeah, of course. But I don't think they can be
Is
helped.
immigration part of the problem?
Of course. All of it is.
Yeah, because the housing. You have all this immigration, you have a limited amount of housing, and we're not building enough housing.
Okay.
It's not like in China where they're putting up
But
high rises
it goes beyond
everywhere.
that too. I agree with you, Nara, but it goes beyond just having houses or apartments. Or
It would
whatever.
help.
Yeah, it would help. However, when a society, encourages people to have kids they cannot afford, you have a situation there.
Okay, you're not encouraging. First of all, let's make it clear. What you're doing, you're supporting families.
No, you're encouraging.
You're supporting families.
You're encouraging.
Every society needs to have families. To Nuran's always support, for the nuclear family
Yeah.
and for children. Well, as a society, we support families so that the children can,
Hey,
can
Aki,
have a reasonable level of living.
What's really behind the incentives? Is it not a concern on the part of certain governments that they're experiencing population decline?
Yes, it is. That's part of it.
Okay,
that's
so
part of it.
So let's call it what it is.
Exactly.
But that's not the whole answer.
So then, but he's not wrong. Dominic is not
Right.
wrong in saying it's an incentive to encourage people who would otherwise not have children to have children.
Exactly, for monetary purposes.
That's
'cause
what
they
it
can't
is.
afford.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then they can afford
Okay.
them either.
It's also socioeconomic. There's also the socioeconomic consideration. It's in a society where costs are going up. It's to help families so children can have access to
So
the basics, the essentials of
whatever
life.
it is, it's not working.
Okay.
Because what we're saying is there's a growing number of people who don't have a place to call home.
Yeah.
And you talk about encampments, we have growing trends that are demonstrating that whatever governments have been attempting, at least in Western society, it is not working.
Okay, guys, but there are
The problem is getting worse.
Yes, the problem is getting worse because the macroeconomic reality.
So that's
is
part
such.
of it. So let's just say, okay, right. So one problem is the economic factor, bankruptcies,
Cost of living.
all of those things for the lower socioeconomic folks that don't make enough money. That's one of them. They get kicked out of their home. In the U.S., they get a sickness and they get bankrupted by by the healthcare industry over there, or they need pills for their diabetic or whatever, and the pills cost a fortune. They don't have money to live. All of that stuff. That's on one hand. That's the socioeconomic one. On the other hand, you've got the mental issues. So between the two of them, there's, it seems like on both ends, it's going up. Both the mental crises, the addiction crises, as well as the socioeconomic one. So what do we do about this?
Okay.
How can we continue in a society where we have more and more people out on the streets? And by the way, we live in a northern climate, right? These people in the winter are going to freeze their asses off. Yeah, and they're still homeless. Being homeless in Montreal is not a good thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
Being
no,
homeless in
no.
Miami is a lot nicer than being homeless here.
It may be nicer from a climate perspective. It's not nice, period. Nobody.
It's nicer. You're not going to freeze your ass in Miami.
Can I make a point about mental illness, the increase in mental illness? I think now it's too easy. We call everything a disease. You're an alcoholic, it's a disease.
Come on, Dominic.
Wait a second. You're a little boy. You like little boys. It's a disease.
Okay, so
everything
let's,
is a disease
okay,
now.
so
Instead of,
let's not label it. Let's not label it a disease.
Well,
but
personal-
can we agree
yeah,
that there are a growing number of people in society
yeah.
who seem, for a variety of reasons, incapable of functioning as independent and productive members of that society?
Because they have
Exactly.
because now they have the avenue to say so, to call it that.
He's got a point.
I don't think anybody
Dominic?
willingly signs up
Thank
to
you.
not having a roof over their heads.
No, but he's right in the sense that people, it's like a scapegoat. It's
Yeah,
not my fault.
exactly. It's not my
It's not
fault.
me.
No.
It's society
Yeah.
that did this
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
It's because
more
of
complicated.
It's someone else's fault. It's always someone else's
someone
fault.
else.
No,
People don't take
what
responsibility.
What you're describing fits the description I just gave. A growing number of individuals who are incapable
Yes.
of being independent and productive members of the society they're a part of.
He's saying that it's easier for that individual to scapegoat society and not
Exactly.
take personal responsibility for their actions. That's all he's saying.
I don't
and
know
agree.
I don't know if it's
I agree.
easier or harder. It is what it is.
Well, it is. I mean, we give latitude to everything.
Yeah.
now.
You know what, Dominic? I mean, almost like half of the people that are homeless that have some incident of attempted suicide.
Okay. What is
Okay.
that?
So that's not you're not blaming society.
So
It goes beyond the blame game.
So
It goes to the point of survival.
So they failed at that.
Well, survival. I mean, an attempt.
They failed at committing suicide. Okay, let's take
you're
a break.
saying-
Let's
all
take a
you're-
break.
All you're saying is that there are some percentage of these people
Heartless.
I know.
who feel that life is so miserable,
Yes.
Fuck.
Yes.
they would be better off
Yes.
not being part of it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That's exactly what I'm saying, and that's the
Well,
root cause.
that's-
so there's
people
not
are
a calculation. Sorry.
Listen, people are destitute.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not going to be blaming every individual for this for what for the situation that they find themselves in. Okay, but as a society, we got to figure out what to do.
Okay, so let's tackle this differently. Who in your minds should be responsible for dealing with this issue?
Okay, so I have a solution.
Go ahead.
So a solution for at least the ones that are mentally incapable of taking care of themselves, which is, I think, a fairly decent percentage of homeless have mental issues.
Yes.
For those people, there has to be funding. There has to be funding allocated from government to put institutions back. We had institutions. We had the Douglas Institute, Pinnell. We had all sorts of institutions.
they're still there.
They're still there.
Yeah, but are they accepting people like they did before?
Well, Pinnell is not a good example because that's for criminal.
There are insufficient financial resources
That's my point.
to adequately resource, and that means staffing and otherwise,
Right.
facilities to deal with the number of people in our society
Yes.
who have mental health issues.
Until we get that part of it done.
But we can't.
You can't.
Well, no, the answer is we won't. We can.
No,
it's a matter of changing the funding model.
We don't have the fund.
Well, it's a matter of changing the funding model.
Priorities.
Okay, what
Priorities.
are we not going to fund?
So, okay, I'm not going to fund general government bloating that we did in Canada over the past 10 years under the Trudeau government that increased by hundreds of thousands of dollars the people, in our government forces. So if you fire all those people, all of a sudden you're going to have billions of dollars available to be able to put
Okay,
into...
you're talking at the federal level.
at the federal, and I know it's a provincial thing,
but healthcare is a provincial matter.
got it. So now you can transfer funds allocated specifically for mental health from federal to provincial, or the provincial governments can
Waste
figure
of
out.
money.
Listen, at a certain point, if you don't try to handle this thing, we're going to have increasing issues of violence, crime, and more homelessness.
Well, it's happening.
Okay, so what you're saying is it's government's responsibility.
It has to be. It's not individual responsibility.
And so I think in an ideal world, you are 100% correct. Unfortunately, government, if by now we haven't realized, government has clearly demonstrated their inability to deal with this issue.
So, guys,
And you cannot raise more revenues. If you're government and you're thinking
you have
that
to
the answer
shift.
to any problem is to try and raise revenues,
You have to shift spending.
from what?
Well,
We
like
have
I
so
said-
many other areas right now that are starved for finance.
look, guys, it goes back.
Government
It goes back.
efficiency.
You want to talk about resources? You want to talk about
You're right.
budgets, right? We're paying through the nose, when these people wind up, in the ERs, when these people wind up in the justice system, when these people wind up in the prison system, when young people wind up in youth protection systems. You know how much all that costs?
Exactly.
The whole idea is to work smart here and to learn from successful models. The most successful model is, as I said, is you need to, to be able to have, centers where these people feel comfortable and have confidence. They can go and they can decompress and they can open up, and you have an opportunity there to start building bridges with them and
where is
earning their
that?
trust.
Where is that being done successfully?
It's being done. You look at our nonprofit organizations in major cities. In Montreal, I can name
It's
you the
not being done to
nonprofits.
the scale
it's
that
not.
needs
It's not
to
being
be
done effectively, Aki, in a place like
those-
Montreal, to use your example,
those-
because we have a mounting problem. It's a crisis.
It's yes, it is, but it's because this is we do have
Aki-
we have the resources.
So, are there any
right now that are
societies?
available.
Are there any societies that you can think of where this problem is being tackled
Yes.
successfully?
Yes.
Well, I'm waiting for Aki to answer 1st, and then you can weigh in.
That's being tackled successfully. I mean, in some European jurisdictions, in Portugal, in Holland, they do have forward-thinking policies and approaches.
Any other jurisdictions?
What are you going to say? China, right? Is that what you want to say?
What do you think?
I think you want to say China. So
Forget what I want to say. What do you think?
right. So look.
Do you think there's homelessness in China?
Everything is whitewashed in China. We don't know what the facts are in China because it's a propaganda machine, and you get the image of China that the Communist Party of China wants to present.
Sure.
Okay.
So every
Okay.
government is a propaganda machine.
Right,
Yes.
but not. There's different degrees.
Oh, yeah, I agree. There are different degrees, but
Right.
let's be clear. Every government is a propaganda
it's not just about
machine.
so what has worked and what does work well. And to your point is, I'm sorry, if people are treated properly and you have the time and you have the ability to build those bridges with them and to be able to accompany them, we get great results of people that go from the street to high level positions in business. How many times when I was with Don LaRue,
That doesn't happen.
How many? I'm sorry, Dominic. I was in those
Okay,
environments.
Aki, in spite of your efforts and your accomplishments and those of your colleagues, is the problem more severe today than it was a generation ago?
Yes, it's always a severe problem under the best of circumstances, and now it's even more severe.
It's a volume issue
because of it's also it is
a volume
issue, and it's those
So
socioeconomic
your
factors
proposed
we talked
solution
about.
is not effectively dealing with this matter.
But we have that, Pat. I mean, as a society, we have a responsibility, and we have the ability.
Okay, you're talking these platitudes. Translate that into meaningful actions that are going to help resolve the problem.
Okay, fund successful transition programs where people are able to go from the street to therapy, to temporary housing, to employment
Where's
training.
the funding going to come from?
That comes from the government.
Okay.
The government doesn't have the money.
Well, the government can make choices because the government is paying, as I said, through the nose when these people fall into the public system, and there are greater costs.
Where are the healthcare professionals going to come from? We have a shortage.
We're not talking about healthcare professionals necessarily.
We're not?
We're talking that you
don't need more psychiatrists, psychologists, and social workers.
We're talking about the heavy lifting, and the hardest part is in the beginning, is when they go into those encampments. It's to prevent that from happening. It's to have places where solutions are available. Where
who's providing solutions to people with mental health issues?
It is government, and it is a strong nonprofit sector.
Who is meeting with individuals who suffer from mental illness to help them?
People, frontline workers.
Frontline workers. Not psychiatrists, not psychologists, and not social workers.
Nurses, sociologists, nurses, psychologists.
Okay, there's a shortage of those resources. Where are they coming from?
But okay, do we agree? Sorry, Naran, I want to say this. Okay, so there's a shortage of those resources. Okay. We flag that. We recognize that there's a shortage of resources. But do we at least believe in the work that can be done and the work that we should as a society be
undertaking? It's not scaling.
No.
Aki, the problem is the scaling. It's not happening. And we're falling behind. Yes. We're not getting any better. Yes. So his point is it's not better than it was 5 years ago. No. It's worse.
No.
And there's a reason for that because the scale is not working. Your idea or your thought, and I echo that, is if you put money into it, it'll get better. Yeah, but there's no money to be put into it, and there's shortages of people to do the job.
There are also conflicting priorities.
Exactly.
We're saying in order for our economy to grow, we have to allow more immigrants to come in. More immigrants come into the country. It drives up the price of housing. Fewer people can afford apartments, rent.
Exactly.
Right? Forget purchasing homes. They can't even afford to rent a property.
Exactly.
They're left out on the street.
Yeah. Exactly. Poverty levels go.
Are we willing to tighten the belt and say we're going to really stop immigration?
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's not having the desired impact on our society.
Yeah, and if you think if we had less immigration, real estate prices would not be
Again, it's
supply and demand.
Supply and demand. It's a simple equation.
Economics.
We had issues with even when we had more reasonable levels of immigration, we're still seeing real estate and rent prices go up.
Aki,
in a society.
It is.
It's
supply and demand.
Yes, it is.
Back what you just described just meant that there wasn't enough supply for the little demand that was there. If we had more supply, the prices would come down. It's very, very simple.
Look, guys, we don't even need to. We can look at there's for example, there's these.
I don't know what
houses.
You're arguing against.
What I'm saying
right now, we have an issue, and we're just saying that the current thing, the current situation, is not fixing it. Right? So the way that we would fix it is either you throw money and resources at it, which governments don't have, or you think about different ways to address this the problem.
Well, so
we need to stem population growth. We need to
that's
ensure
easy. That's immigration.
We need to ensure
migration.
We need to ensure that there is more affordable housing available.
Yes.
We need to find ways to integrate or reintegrate people who have fallen on hard times.
Yes.
Those who have the ability to function into the workforce.
Right.
So they can support themselves and live independent and more productive lives.
Definitely, yes.
And we need to find means through which we can provide people who are the most desperately in need of mental health assistance.
And addiction issues, by the way.
The resources in the form of professionals who are in too short supply today from social workers to psychologists to psychiatrists,
Yeah.
which means also changing certain governments' priorities, because I'll use the example of the province of Quebec in Canada, where we're not allowing individuals in unless they have perfect command of the French language,
And never mind where they come from.
right?
Yeah.
No, never mind where they come from and never mind what their credentials are.
Right, exactly.
So you have perfectly qualified individuals who don't have mastery of the French language, who could help alleviate the problem,
Yeah.
who are not being allowed in.
Yeah, engineers and doctors who don't speak French, right? They can't come in here. Yeah, exactly.
That all sounds really good, Pat. Really does. I don't think most of these people can be helped.
Well, again,
Well,
what
but
do you base that on?
No, you know what? He may have a point.
It's-
I'm not going to debate you because you may have a point.
I think I do.
But do we agree that some can be helped?
Yeah, some.
So how about we focus on those who can be helped?
Yeah,
Exactly.
but the cost benefit again.
I think that the cost is not as great as we might think if we tackle the problem differently than we have up until now.
We can save 5%. Is that worth it?
5% of what?
Of all these people that need help. 'Cause that-
5% can be helped, you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I believe the number is greater than that.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So if you have a more efficient way of figuring out who the people are that can be helped, that'll help in figuring this, at least getting those folks off the streets. But it's a bigger issue.
Yeah, and I want to come back to a point one of you made earlier, right? And which touches on one of your comments, and I think where you're trying to take this. I've become a firm believer, based on what I've been able to observe and experience, and in some cases through close observation, that people who don't want to be helped cannot be helped.
Yes.
I'm not going to waste any time
Yeah.
on people who don't want to be helped.
Yeah, you don't want to be helped? Fuck you. Get away. Go.
If you don't want to be helped, you're going to get the life you deserve.
Yeah, but those that don't want to be helped are such a liability to society. Those are the ones that are really costing us.
Yeah, okay. So
No,
what are you going to do?
I think there are a lot of people who ultimately want to be helped, but can't get the necessary help. That's where I would focus my
Yeah,
attention.
I agree, but those are a minority.
I don't know. I
Look,
don't know.
That's,
Unless we're going to start going the Soylent Green route and offing these people.
Yeah, we're not talking about offing. I'm talking about prioritizing,
yeah.
like anything else.
Okay, so let's go down the road. Let's say 30%. Pick a nicer number. You help 30%. You put lots of dollars in. You identify the people that can be helped. 30% less homelessness. You think that's going to solve the problem? 30% less homelessness is not going to solve the homelessness problem.
It's alleviating part of the issue. If that 30% you're referring to
It comes back to cost benefit.
gets reintegrated into the workforce and become productive members of society.
You're talking about financially.
Not just financially.
I'm not gonna disagree with you from a dollar and cents perspective and from integrating into society. No, but it's not going to solve the homelessness problem. That's all I'm saying. Even if you get 30% of those people off the road,
If you're
still going to have
talking
70%
about,
of
if
them
you're
out there.
talking about 100% solution, of course not. Just like there's no way to eliminate crime entirely. But it doesn't mean that there aren't things that can't be done that are going to help to alleviate some of the problems that we have to deal with as a society.
It goes back to what Dominic said about cost benefit.
Yeah.
So how much is that going to cost you to get those people out? And then eventually their contribution back to society, is that going to kind of help that cost benefit analysis? I don't know the answer to that.
okay, just in your cost benefit analysis, though, you have to understand and you have to look at the cost of to society when nothing is helping them and they're winding up in the encampments and on the streets.
It's a subset of those people. That's all. The people that can be helped is a subset.
Pat,
Yeah, that's fine. So give them an opportunity. Help them.
Okay. I'm not going to disagree with that. I'm just questioning, like Dominic said, the cost benefit analysis of it. That should be done before you start
I
throwing
would tell
money
you
at
there
something.
are a lot more areas today managed by governments at all levels that I would put through the ringer as far as cost benefit analysis is concerned
Yeah, efficiency is a
before this one.
Pat,
fair enough.
one of the biggest issues that I see in helping people like that is that every individual is different.
Yep.
The resources that you need
Yep.
to follow every single one differently.
They all have different issues.
It's impossible.
Okay, but
I don't think it's impossible.
Right, but any
It's costly.
I don't.
Any
It's costly.
any advanced society in the 21st century should have the tools at its disposal,
Like China.
to be able. You're China. What are you? Are you a paid spokesperson for the Communist Party?
So
of China?
what do you mean? What do we mean by advanced society?
I mean
China.
I don't think that's what he means.
economically. Economically.
So what is the most economically advanced society in the world today?
Well, the Western world, the United States.
Okay, so let's stop at the United States for a moment.
Right.
Are they the
Powerhouse.
most economically powerful country in the world?
Yes, they are. But
Is this issue a serious one in the U.S. and is it growing or lessening?
It's growing because you can't give the U.S. an example.
Why not?
The current regime doesn't give a shit about
How about under
this
Obama?
developed under the current regime.
Watch the camera.
Sorry.
This problem has developed under the current regime.
Social policy is a real thing, and unfortunately, in the case of the United States, under the current regime, social policy is just absolutely not on the table.
How long has the current regime been in place, Aki?
6 months, a year.
Yes, I know.
7.
But
Come
Pat,
on,
okay.
stop with your freaking liberal wave.
No, I'm not going to
Flag
stop.
waving.
Biden was there for 4 years. What happened?
On social policy,
He lost his mind.
So on social policy, the United States is a leader on social policy? No, they're not.
Aki,
I'm coming back to your point. You said the most advanced
Exactly.
societies.
Yes, the most advanced.
And you
my,
then added economically.
my point is, which you did not let me finish. My point is, we should have, when we're a prosperous society in today's world, you have the tools at your disposal to be able to address this problem. That's what I am saying.
Really?
Now, of course.
what are the tools?
The tools are, first of all, to support.
Aki, stop. Let's just bring down the rhetoric a little bit. Let's bring down the temperature a little bit and talk about reality. Okay, the U.S. is the richest country on the planet. They have the most money in the world, and they have one of the worst problems with homelessness because of the way that they've put their society together.
Correct.
Okay, so they're not going to be fixing this anytime soon. Right now, they're taking apart encampments and they're trying to
And what's the alternative?
outlaw homelessness. What's the alternative?
Right. So no, that's what I'm saying.
The alternative is for society over time to figure out their immigration, to figure out the amount of money they want to spend on housing, to figure out how they want to spend money on community housing and institutions for mentally mental
access to health care.
all of these things.
Okay.
I
Supports,
know,
teaching
but
supports in schools.
This is the reason why it's not getting fixed and it's getting worse because governments are not putting those things in place.
Well, something else is happening concurrently,
Which is?
which is the middle class is eroding.
That's right.
Okay.
So
Yeah, there's issues.
You have a growing number of people who were previously part of the middle class that are nearing or falling below the poverty line.
Yeah.
And that is contributing to this issue in a significant way.
Absolutely. That's a
absolutely
macroeconomic
agreed.
factor.
So yeah, there's so many factors in here that are exacerbating the situation, and it's not like governments are stepping up to put more funding and more resources into this thing. So how is this going to get fixed?
So reprioritization, you're talking about government at all levels, municipal, state, provincial, federal.
Yeah.
They don't have the guts to do that.
Well, good luck aligning all those governments.
It's not just a question of courage. It's also a question of
Political will.
Regardless of which side of the line you're on, left or right, that the agenda is being hijacked by people who are at the margins.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. And a lot of money is being allocated to their causes just to keep the peace. To the detriment of the well-being of society at large. That's what's happening.
So how is that going to change?
And until we get back to governing from center, and you could be slightly right or left, but somewhere around center, I have no belief that this situation is going to improve.
So I don't know. I don't know about
I agree.
The statement that you made, right? I mean, we want to have good neighborhoods. We want to have good schools. We want to have good social.
But do you
services.
understand that when you make that statement, what you have in the back of your mind is different from what an extreme conservative thinks of when he talks about good neighborhoods and good. It's completely different from what you think.
And this is why when you have the conservatives in power, you have the problems are not being
No, it's why when you have either side in power, you have a problem.
Yeah, guys, everything is polarized right now. You've got the left going in like completely pulling into a fucked up agenda on the left, and then you got the right now, especially where it's like homelessness is going to be outlawed and you're going to be going to jail.
I think
so.
Right. So Pat's
somewhere in the middle is the solution.
Every country in Western civilization that has had either a liberal or conservative government has seen the problem worsen.
Exactly.
In whatever period of time they have been in power.
Yeah, so don't go to one side or the other.
Both liberals and conservatives own this problem.
They've both shit the bed.
Right.
Okay, so there are under more progressive and liberal governments, there was more of an openness.
Okay, we had Trudeau for 10 years.
I'm not talking
Are things
about,
better?
I'm talking in general terms.
That's more progressive than you could ever think of. Don't give me progressive.
I'm talking in general terms.
I hate that fucking word.
Okay, I'm talking in general terms. What I'm saying is that you think liberals and conservatives, have the same view of this problem?
Stop with the liberal versus conservative.
No,
go to the center.
We just finished saying of course they don't have the same view.
Thank you.
And neither one has proposed a solution to the problem that has proven effective.
But at least one is more conscious of the problem.
No, one wraps themselves around their wokeness.
One is...
it's such bullshit.
One is
bullshit.
more inclined, to support social programs and social
bullshit.
Policies and to fund community initiatives.
What happened in 10 years in Canada?
If you want to look...
What happened in 10 years in Canada? What happened to homelessness over the past 10 years?
Why Canada?
The economy.
What about the States?
Well, because we had 10 years of Trudeau with the progressive bullshit.
So it doesn't matter. They had...
That's your progressive guy. What the fuck did Trudeau do? For 10 years, homelessness got better? Did it? No, tell me. Tell me if I'm wrong. Am I losing my fucking mind?
It hasn't gotten better.
Okay, so why the fuck are you saying progressives are better, liberals are better? Bullshit.
Because if you look at the funding, if you look at the budget commitment,
it didn't do a fucking thing. If you look at the policy commitment,
it didn't do
a fucking thing.
There was an effort. Maybe it wasn't as successful, but there was an effort. Now you're talking about closed doors completely.
No. Wait a second.
Total closed door on social policy.
Guys, pause, grab a breath.
Bullshit.
You talk about effort. Bullshit. Even if it's true that there was greater effort, the results have been no better.
Because the problem is becoming almost untractable.
Oh, stop it.
Now the problem...
Stop it.
Because the liberals couldn't fix it, it's untractable. Oh my God, I don't know if that's a word, but it's good.
It's a word.
It's like when liberals say something stupid, they're not idiots. They misspoke.
There we go.
Okay, so look, I don't want to turn it into an ideology warfare.
But you just did.
No.
That's why I'm freaking out. It's not about the ideology. Everyone's fucking up. That's his point. Pat is right.
Safe injection sites. With the conservatives, it's absolutely,
I think it's a joke, safe injection sites.
Well, there you go. And
did it solve anything? Did British Columbia that put safe injection sites, they're better off?
Yes.
They're better off.
Yes.
There's no homelessness in BC.
Overdose deaths, have gone down.
Is there homelessness in Vancouver?
It's not just about, you're not going to solve
We're
homelessness
talking about homelessness
sites.
here.
It's a public health issue.
The topic today is homelessness.
But that's an example where liberals, liberal governments and liberal leaders are more open to trying, new and forward-thinking solutions.
And they had syringes around the
liberals
schools.
And conservatives have both failed miserably in addressing the issue of homelessness.
Exactly.
Neither one has demonstrated the ability to tackle this issue
and
with
the competency.
Any degree of effectiveness.
No competency on either side.
This problem clearly needs to be tackled differently than it has in the past.
No, after listening to that, I need a safe injection.
Exactly. Come on, guys. You're making it into a political statement. It ain't about the politics. It's about human nature.
Exactly.
It's about.
Let's bring it back down to the human beings.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's bring it back down. to the human beings.
But you cannot have this conversation without addressing government's role in helping solve the problem.
Yeah,
and what we're saying is, regardless of ideology, regardless of stripes, what we have seen demonstrated beyond a shadow of a doubt is that neither conservatives nor liberals have the ability or have demonstrated the ability to effectively address the problem.
It's gotten worse.
And so it needs to be tackled differently.
Guys,
agreed.
Most of these people, a lot of them family members have tried to help them. They weren't able to do it. the government won't be able to.
But do you know what healthcare professionals tell family members today?
What?
You have to let your family member crash and burn.
Well,
Stop trying to be a savior.
yeah.
As hard as it is,
So-
you have to allow them to hit rock bottom, whatever that means.
Would that also be for the government? Let them crash and burn.
Yeah, okay, but then afterwards, what do you do with them? The homelessness happens after they crashed and burned.
Yeah.
Okay, so now they crashed and burned and they're homeless.
Right.
Now what do you do? That's the problem.
Exactly.
Well, so I think to effectively deal with the problem, you have to tackle it from two different angles. One is prevention,
Which is what Aki was talking
right?
about.
That's part of the
Definitely.
solution.
And I agree with that part.
And the other part of the solution is, unfortunately, for those who you cannot prevent from falling into such misery, how do we identify those that we believe are most likely to respond to some form of rehabilitation, for lack of a better term, and get them reintegrated into society as productive members of society?
Okay.
And for the others, we're going to have to find,
The majority.
I don't know what the percentages are, but it's a significant enough number that we should care.
Yeah.
Right? Is there a way for us to reprioritize within the public sector to ensure that we have some of the healthcare professionals required to assist those people in their time of need? Because today, clearly, we don't.
Or build up the institutions where you can institutionalize some of the folks that need institutionalization.
The cost of institutionalizing is prohibitive.
Yeah.
So I see that as
Okay, but
something that is just not even in the realm of possible.
yeah, but I listen. It's because a situation happened to me when I was on the metro on the subway where some guy started losing it and yelling and scaring the shit out of people and stuff. There's tendencies for people to get violent. There's mental health issues. These people should not be on the streets. They have to be institutionalized. It's public safety. I don't want people getting stabbed because some guy lost his fucking mind. Okay, and there's a lot of that happening. There's crime happening because of this stuff.
No, that's
you have
not
to deal with
the
it.
So
You have to deal with
I'm
this.
going to respond.
There's petty theft.
I'm going to respond by saying, you know what? You are so right. Now, here's the reality.
Yeah, I know.
We don't have
I know.
the resources.
Well, I'm saying that we need them, and somehow
There's no way. There's no way with everything we need to do as a society that we can generate the resources required
so
to
we're lost.
institutionalize these people. A portion of them will be lost, unfortunately.
So we have unsafe streets. We're going to have homeless people that have addiction issues that are wandering around. If someone bumps into them, they get stabbed.
Have some.
Look,
if we can reduce the number, that will be a major step forward.
okay, let's not overstate the stabbing. Okay, this is not.
How many people get stabbed?
By homeless people?
Yes.
No,
homeless
I'm sorry.
people.
A minimum. I mean, it's
Minimal.
minuscule. It's minuscule.
Never happened.
Okay,
Minuscule.
neither one of you is going to have the statistics.
No,
so
it's
let's
minuscule.
move on to things that.
Right. So the issue is, yes, first of all, as a society, what are the choices that we choose to make? That's number one. Number two is that there is a body of work that we know that works well, that requires certain resources. We should look at putting that in place. Again, if we as a society decide, that we need to address this problem, so everybody, has some dignity and can be like a full member of society, well, that's, that requires some serious investment. But it's up to us as a society to make those choices.
And what if we don't make those choices? Well, we're just going to have more and more homeless people.
No, so at the end of the day, look, there's also this idea, not everybody can be saved. So if we're talking now about we want to prevent people from dying.
No, I'm just saying what's going to happen with homelessness if it continues to grow. How many people are going to be out on the streets? To me, that's the issue. Because this is going to contribute to, again, safety issues, theft.
No question.
All of this stuff.
No question.
So it's going up. It's not coming down. There's no plateau here. So what? In 5 years, we're going to have double the homeless people we have now? Or are we going to be okay with this? Are we going to have all sorts of crap happening in the streets downtown?
Wait a second.
In downtown core?
Wait a second. Do we think that in a generation's time there will be more or less people as a percentage of the overall population who are holding jobs?
Yeah, under the poverty line. I agree with you. I think it's going to get worse.
I mean, AI has already started replacing people.
Yeah, exactly.
So unless we have universal basic income starting to come in and people being able to get housed without working, we're all... Everyone's going to be out on the
yeah.
streets in a generation or two.
Well, not everyone, but a greater number of people
Yeah,
for
that's
sure.
what. So
Yeah.
Yes.
where's society going, guys? Like,
Well, the trend line is look. We can choose to ignore it if we want.
No, to our peril.
But the trend line we have seen
yeah, it's terrible.
is only going to get aggravated
Agreed.
and accentuated
I think we all agree on that.
over the course of the next 10 to 20 years.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We all agree. All 4 Romeos agree.
And the rate at which it's going to deteriorate
We'll
It'd be
accelerate.
scary.
is going to accelerate.
Definitely with AI. Absolutely, 100% agree.
That's
And
why.
And that's why I say governments have to look at this differently.
if we don't have,
And
the
I don't
solution
think that
now,
the skills, the competencies exist within government
No, they don't.
to deal with this issue.
Look at the Illuminatis that go into politics.
you're what?
The Illuminatis that go into politics these days.
Oh, we have to now talk about that on a different one. That's a different podcast.
No, but it's the point that Pat made. They don't have the skills. They don't
Okay,
have.
so we also agree, as Romeos then, having made that statement, we also agree and we understand the importance of good social policy.
What does that mean?
No,
What does that mean? Good social policy.
It means funding. It means funding of social programs for youth, for families in crisis.
we just said that governments
For-
are inept, inefficient, and not able to do it.
But you believe in the theory of social policy, at least good social
Of course,
policy?
the theory is always wonderful.
But you don't believe in the ability of government to execute that
Don't
properly.
like free.
Well, we haven't seen it.
We've never seen
Okay.
it to date.
Okay.
Again, I'm the type of person that's very pragmatic. If you can take the resources out of the ground of this country in Canada and get it to where it needs to go, if you can get the minerals, if you can get the oil, if you can get the natural gas, and actually get pipelines across the country
Generate
and get
wealth,
efficient
yes, Nora.
and generate wealth for the country, and now take this money to put the social programs in place, I'm a happy camper.
Wait. To be truly happy, you also have to reduce the size of government at all levels.
Efficiency, I said that.
Okay.
Definitely the efficiency part, but
That's
we're
not
not
gonna
doing
happen.
we're not doing any of that.
Yeah.
If you give the 4 of us a whiteboard and a blueprint for government over the next 10, 20 years, we can figure it out. But no one's doing that. No one's doing this.
Well, of course, because
How about we take it from 4 to 3?
yeah.
We can do that.
Look,
We'll spend less money.
Nuran, to your point, Nuran, it's about interests, special interests, and the poor and the homeless are very low on that list of special interests.
Yeah, and so are the pipelines, though. That's the problem. Because everyone's
Not
got
anymore.
it right.
You can't. Well, the
No,
government,
not anymore. They haven't built a fucking thing
The
yet.
current government has made a
Yeah,
commitment.
they've talked.
Okay, but that's
bang, 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 talk.
But the point is, I'm very happy to hear that we agree. That with a prosperous economy, we agree that in a prosperous
Yeah, and for
economy.
10 years, we did nothing in this country.
Okay, stop dwelling on that. Can we look to the future?
He talk, then he
Yeah.
went.
No, it's not just looking
you-
to the future.
you-
It's planning for the
He
future.
talk, then he went into hibernation.
Yeah.
Who?
Carney.
Yeah.
He's talked to, yeah.
Hasn't even been a year that the man has been prime minister.
Okay, well, build
You know,
the fucking things.
Okay, but it's a complicated country. But anyway,
Oh,
we agree.
that's a nice answer.
Okay, well, you want to turn this now into what a shitfest against the current government?
All
Is
I'm
that our
saying,
topic?
Oh, we don't
listen,
have
we
to.
know what the answers are. The possibility of the answers. It's the fortitude, intestinal fortitude of different levels of government, their competency and the efficiency. That's
The will's
happening.
not there. It's not going to happen. The will is
exactly.
not there.
Well, that's the issue.
And by the way, this is
Who's going to reform government?
yeah, exactly. This is a 10, 20 year issue, and governments are in place for 4 years at a time.
All those Illuminatis.
okay.
Who's going to reform government, Aki?
We got to talk about that.
We are.
Who's we? Who's we?
We are. Society.
We the people.
No,
the
we're not.
voters.
No,
we're a democracy.
That doesn't reform government.
Well, that's the only formula we have.
So why is it that China, that's not a
Back to
democracy,
China.
has the best
What?
of everything? Has a
Bullshit.
great society, no homelessness.
Bullshit.
Everyone-
Bullshit. Bullshit.
The middle class is
Yeah,
expanding
they still have a
there.
significant poverty level. They still have, like youth unemployment is through the roof.
But
There's
what
still
he's saying,
some-
what he's saying is their trend lines are positive
Yes.
on a variety of issues for which Western society is actually experiencing negative trend lines.
And their
That's what he's
children are
saying.
building iPhones, so it's okay.
Yeah. Well, the police get things done, I guess.
No illegal Chinese are showing up at our border.
Exactly.
Have you noticed?
And the 7
Done.
to 12-year-old
Done.
demographic is building the iPhone, so they've got lots of employment there. So,
Okay.
on that note,
On that,
Hey guys, we've clearly demonstrated that we do
that
not have
crazy
we do not
tangent-
have an answer to this problem.
we don't.
no, we don't.
No, but we do agree, guys. Look, I just want to reiterate that we agree that that there is a role for an intelligent government,
A competent in general.
efficient government.
Yeah, which we don't have, but yes.
But there is a role for a government that we just described to be able to tackle this
You want to
issue.
be governed so badly.
I don't want to be. I just want. Look, guys. I want to be. I just want people in their communities to be able to just have a shot at a decent life, and I don't want anybody to be
How?
by having vibrant communities where we have good schools.
You're talking such like you're at
But that's-
30,000
how?
feet on every
How?
statement
How?
you make.
But no, but that's
It's where the rubber meets the road.
That's the basic
Yes.
truth. The basic
No.
truth is, what does it look like?
No,
What
that's
is-
the basic dream.
But
There is no truth to it. There is no truth. The truth is what we
so I'm
see
sorry
day to day.
if you're saying that an equitable and successful and prosperous society is not possible, then that's
It
What
has
I'm
more to
saying
say.
is that's not what we have.
It hasn't-
we all agree it's not what we have, but it's what we should be striving for. Do we agree?
It's not striving. It's who's going to plan for it and execute it.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
there
the-
is no magic answer here. It's a society.
Yes.
It's as a society, what commitment we're prepared to make.
there's
and
no-
what expectations we
So,
have.
Aki, what we're all trying to say is that there's no answer. Because if
No,
there
there's no
was
easy
one,
answer.
we would have had it by now.
No.
And by the way, governments are not incentivized to do this because they govern for 4 years, and this is a generational thing. So you need to take pain over the short term for long term gain.
They also don't have the competencies.
That
it's not
too.
just they don't have the incentive
all
because
of it. It's all of it. All of it together.
Because
yes.
you do have people in this world like Aki who have the best of intentions.
Yes.
Right? And who aren't going to concern themselves with, am I going to get reelected? I'm going to do the right thing.
Yeah, there aren't enough
And
of
by
that.
the way, I have the necessary competencies
That too.
to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's where we're most severely lacking.
Yeah. Well,
The
both.
competencies are not there.
Yeah, agreed. So, sorry, guys.
We're going to wrap it up, guys.
Yeah.
We have nothing else to add or
we have
contribute to
nothing.
this
No.
topic.
We couldn't solve the problem. For once, we couldn't solve a problem.
It's a mess. It's a hot mess.
Yeah.
It's getting worse.
yeah.
And I need to go back home.
At least you have a home to go to.
Right. Look, guys, I think we care. That's the bottom
Don't trip
line.
on a homeless guy on the way
Well,
there.
we care, but
Hey, we used to call him rubbies.
I'm not sure how we demonstrate the fact
yeah,
that we
in
care.
that case, I don't think I care that much because I don't think a lot of them can be helped.
But you're honest.
Yeah, there we go.
Because if you're not doing anything about it, other than talking about it, then you don't really
You know.
care.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, let's not expect to change.
Yeah.
All right. On that sour note,
Yeah.
thanks for the conversation, guys.
Thanks, guys.
To our viewers and listeners, thanks for joining us. Please remember to like and subscribe.
From home.
And we look forward to doing it all again next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.